Alright, so we're going to continue with our HTML project, our Intro to HTML lesson, and we're picking up where we left off. If you recall, last time we created an index.html page that simply included a title and a body, a paragraph, and so what we're going to do today is we're going to add to it, and we're going to do some alterations to it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to File and say Save As, and save this as index1 so that the changes that I make today don't overwrite the changes that were, or the document that I had last time. Okay. All right. So this assignment asks us to do examples of text that is bold and underlined and italic, that's a different size, that's a different typeface, and a few other things. So what I'm going to show you right now is old school HTML, right? And oh, look at that! I just noticed that my document has a typo. That's nice, isn't it? So let me fix that real quick while I'm talking to you. So I'm going to show you old school HTML, meaning that that the newer process for doing certain styles in HTML is to use styles, to use cascading style sheets, CSS. Right? We're going to get to that, but I want you to know the HTML way of doing things versus the style or CSS way of doing things. So I'm going to show you the HTML way, the old way, first, and then in a future lesson we'll modify those files with styles rather than with HTML. All right, so having said that, we are asked to make text bold, underline, and italic. Okay, we could bold, underline, italic the entire paragraph, or we could do pieces of the paragraph. So let's do pieces of the paragraph. We'll just do this sentence. So what I'm doing right here is I'm placing my cursor inside the paragraph tag, but to the left of the text. And I simply put in the tag B. B stands for bold. And you'll notice that the entire paragraph right now is affected because I don't yet have a closing tag. So right here, I'm going to put in /B, end B, and oops, somewhere along the lines I accidentally hit caps lock. So let me make that lowercase. Okay. And when I click on one of these, notice that its pair shows up. So you can see that it's been opened and closed. Right? So that's going to make that sentence bold. Same process for the next two sentences. Right here we can do I for italic, and right here we'll end I. Alright? And then right here we can start with U for underline, and then we'll end U. Okay? And so if I save those changes, shrink this down, and open up index.1 or index1 in a browser window, you'll see this first sentence is bold, this first sentence is italic, and this third sentence is underlined. Okay? There's no reason where you can't combine those things. So right here I could do bold, italic, and underline. And then what the good practice is to close them in the opposite order. So the closest opening tag to the text is U. So the closest opening tag, or the closest closing tag to the text should be /U. Okay, next was I, so /I, and next was bold, so /B. Okay, so U to U, I to I, B to B. All right, you can save that. We can refresh this, and you'll see that this sentence is bold, italic, and underline. Okay, so you can use those in any combinations that you wish. All right, next thing it asked us to do was to alter the text. I believe it says 8 point, and so there's a couple ways to do that. The way that we'll do it here is we'll use the tag font. Now the interesting thing about the tag font is that it requires attributes to actually change a font. So we're going to use the attribute size. So we'll say size equals 2. Oops, I hit something there. All right, we're good. Oh, I'm sorry, size equals, what did we say? 8 points. So we'll do 8 pixels. All right, and then we'll /font. All right, so let me explain this code to you. I'm going to break it off on its own line just so that you can see it in isolation here. All right, so what's happening here is this is the tag. This is the HTML tag or keyword font. You could think of it like in English, this would be a noun, right? It's a thing. This size is an attribute. You could think of it like an adjective. An attribute modifies a keyword. So what we're doing here is we're specifying a modification of the keyword font. And then this part right here, and notice it's in quotes, this part right here is a value. So this is the value for the attribute of the keyword. All right? And notice the syntax. We've got in the opening tag, we've got the keyword, and then a space, and then an attribute, and then equals, and then a quote, and a value, and an end quote, and then the closing bracket of the opening tag. And then when you get to the end of the usefulness of that particular tag, you do the closing tag /font. I have no need to repeat the attribute, okay? Just the tag, all right? So what we'll do at this point is we'll save that. Oh, I hit something that made my bar disappear. Let's see if I can get it back. There it is. So we'll save. All right, and these spaces, once again, don't matter. They're not interpreted. So I'm going to shrink this down, and I'm going to refresh this. Okay, and now notice that this text right here is large. Okay, it's not what I was looking for. It did size 8 instead of 8 pixels. That's just because of my own ignorance about the syntax here. So I'm going to try a couple things. No change. Okay, it doesn't care about that space. The reason I'm having trouble with this is that it's a little bit different in styles than it is in HTML. No change. All right, I'm not going to worry about it. Let's try just like size 2. So this is just an indexed size. It doesn't refer to a specific unit of measure. All right, so this text right here, you'll notice is a little smaller. It's size 2. The default size is size 3. So there you go. Okay, next thing we want to do is we want to change the typeface to Helvetica. And we can actually do that in the same font tag. So if we sneak in here after the size attribute and put in a space, we can also do the face attribute within the same tag. And I believe the assignment asks you to change it to Helvetica. Now spelling becomes remarkably important here. If you misspell Helvetica, it won't be able to find that font in your system. So we'll say save. We'll say refresh. And now you'll notice that this sentence right here is a different font. It's sans serif Helvetica versus this Times or whatever this is over here. All right, so that's how you change the typeface. All right, moving right along. Next thing it wants us to do is to change the background color. And again, this is different in cascading style sheets now, but the old way to do it in HTML is to put in an attribute within the body tag. So if we want the entire body of the document to change its background color, then we just sneak in here after body and we put in the attribute BG color, BG for background, equals, quote, and let's just do, I don't know, yellow. Okay. So again, it's an attribute of the body tag. Body is already closed down here, so I don't need any more closing tags for that attribute. And notice the color coding. All of my attributes are in red, all of my tags are in blue, and all of my values are in purple. That's just Notepad++. If you're using Notepad or Text Wrangler, it may not do that. All right, refresh, and now my page background is yellow. Okay. One thing to keep in mind here is that HTML knows common color names. So we could do yellow, red, blue, green, purple. Couple of cautions: avoid blue because links default to blue. And if you have a blue background with a blue link on it, it'll disappear into the background. You won't see it. Also avoid purple because viewed links or visited links turn purple. And so if you have a purple visited link on a purple background, it'll disappear. You won't be able to see it. Other things to keep in mind is that you can try interesting things. You know, you can try dark slate gray or almond, or chartreuse. You know, you can put in weird names, and you're going to have varying levels of success with that. Some will work, some won't. If you really, really care about specific exact color, then you can actually use hexadecimal values. You can sample colors in a program like Photoshop, find out the hexadecimal value, and then enter it here. So that would look something like, pound FF0033. I don't know what color that is, but that's an example of a hexadecimal value. And let's see what we get when we refresh. Kind of this salmon-y looking color, right? So yeah, experiment. Try different ones. You can also just Google this. Google up color codes. Google up. You can go to W3 Schools, which is a site that I suggested in the announcement and also in the assignment. You go to W3 Schools and look up color values, and it'll tell you the common names, the hexadecimal values, the RGB values, all of the different things that you would need for that. All right, last thing we want to do here is text color. So I'm going to show you two ways to do text color. First, we can break into our font tag here and do another attribute. So we can do color equals, what do you want to do? Green, green. Okay, so we can say save and then refresh. Okay, and you'll notice that this text right here is green. Might be hard to see on top of a yellow background, but it's green, right? And then, and so that's one way to do it, and that's just, for an instance within the font tag. Another way to do it is to change it for the entire body. So if I broke into the body tag and said text equals pink, okay, I could save that and refresh. And now all of my text is pink, really hard to see, except for this one line. Why is this one line not pink? Well, the way this works, and it's a good precursor to cascading style sheets, the way this works is the body tag is up here, and it affects the entire body. But this tag is embedded within the body, and so it takes precedence. So this attribute that says color green for this sentence that's affected by this font pairing, this is in addition to, on top of, overriding this attribute that affects the entire body. Okay, so there's two ways to do it. It occurs to me I got to clean up these colors because this is not very readable. So I'm going to do, I'm just going to do black, which is silly because that's the default, but I'm going to do it anyway. All right, and I believe that is everything that is called for in the lesson 2. So making sure that index1 is properly saved, and it is. Lesson 2, all done.